Hello again, and it's time for another project. Today we're going to use the scroll saw to cut out these biting lips with the teeth there, top and bottom. And the idea, we'll cut out all the sections, so basically removing all the black, making all the teeth separate, and then we'll stick it down to a nice backer, nice red lips there, or pink, with lovely white teeth, and we'll just do the back black as it is. Now originally I was going to do this on the router, and I'd started off a video and I'd routed it, carbon papered it on some nice 1-inch thick oak there, I believe. And when we came to route it out, I tried my few little bits, and it just wasn't evident. It's just too rough and ready. So I think my bits are about worn away. So I've ordered some nice fresh router bits, and we may come back to that one later in the year. We shall see how we feel with that. So for now, while we're waiting on those bits getting delivered, we're going to just simply cut it out on a scroll saw. Now for this one, we've done our template already there, and I've simply used the carbon paper underneath, which I can find somewhere. 2 seconds. Some good old carbon paper like so. This is old stuff. You want nice fresh carbon, simply pop it underneath, and I've drawn around the backer section, which is the wider bit. That will be for the backer. That's the section all our bits are going to stick to. That's 5.5mm plywood. So we've cut that out already, as you can see. So we can leave that for now. We'll put that to one side. And I've simply done the same with the teeth on 5.5mm plywood. So template on top, and I've separated the teeth like so. Normally on a project, you would put that down onto one piece of wood, glue it down on top of painter's tape, and you can just cut out each section as you wished. However, on these, because there are lips, we want them to go in slightly. We have a little bit of sanding to do on this one. We want to make the lips thicker, so the lips are cut out on 12mm. And you can just see there, it's just a little bit big. I will cut this in 2 sections in a minute. But there's our top lip there, all nicely drawn out. And obviously, at the other end of the wood, I was basically just trying to save the section in the middle. So we've bottom lip there, or top lip, and we've got the same there. So we'll cut them out on nice 12mm plywood. Then we'll cut out the teeth on 5.5mm, so they will actually fit down lower inside. And then remember, once we've cut those bits out there, we'll stick it to a 5.5mm backer. Before that, we'll give it a nice paint. We'll go out and find some spray paint or my painter's touch paint, which I'm quite happy to use. And as we cut each section out, because we have used carbon paper, we can simply lay our template out there. And as we cut each tooth out, we can sit it on top and make sure we've got the right size and stuff. And we'll give a nice bit of sanding down and then basically paint it and glue it all together. Now for cutting purposes, for me personally, I do like a spiral blade. Spiral blades, they have the teeth running the full length of the blade, and they will cut in any direction. Ideal for a big project like this. We can simply sit that on the scroll saw and just move the wood around like so. Whereas with normal blades, you'd have to put it in there, and as you're feeding that down, you're going to catch the back section there and twist it and turn it. And everybody has their own special blades. A lot of people do not like these spiral blades. You can also get pin blades. They're on your more basic saws. They have a pin at both ends, and they just clamp in like so. Remember, they want to feel smooth on the way down and rough on the way up. And for your more professionals, they'll all use these little pinless blades. They're ideal for delicate work with detail. You've got really small holes, and you've got to feed that in. But any of these 3 blades will work on this project today. Unfortunately, with my scroll saw, it only takes pin blades. So for pinless spiral blades, or pinless blades, if that makes sense, you're going to need some adapter clamps. I use little Draper ones myself personally, and a little Allen key at the top and the bottom, and that hooks on as if you're using pin blades. They work fine for me. It's a bit more of a faff on, should I say, but they do the job. So for us today, Olson number 4 spiral blade. Cut it all out, and then we're going to paint it, glue it all together, and this project should be done. And like I just said previously, maybe further down the line, we'll route it out as another option. Okay, let's start cutting this one out. Right, you can see from that we got our blade in, a spiral blade for me, remember. This is just a personal choice. Any pin blade or pinless blade will do these projects, so nothing too complicated with the cutting. We've got the blade in, we've took the tension at the back. You've got a nice ping ping sound. That means we are good to go. So I'm just going to cut out the teeth first, then we'll do the lips, and then we'll do the backer. Nice sanding down. I might sand out each tooth as we do it, but we'll see as the project goes on. We'll cut all the teeth out first, would be the better option, and then we can do all the sanding right at the end, and a little bit of shaping on the lips and stuff like that. And then we'll paint some nice paint and get them nicely painted up. But for now, let's start cutting this one out. Right, there's all our teeth nicely cut out. Remember, we've still got the template, so we can literally just slot those on there, and we know we've got the right teeth in the right order. When it comes to painting, I will put a little mark on the back, just so we know which is the back section there, like so. Or you can number them 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever, like that. So now it's just the case of, we're going to cut the lips out next, top and bottom, obviously. Now I've cut that piece of wood in half, like I said before, a piece of 12mm plywood. So we'll cut out the top lip there, and then we'll literally just cut out the bottom lip the same. Let's do that next. Okay, so we've cut out the top lip, and hopefully that just fit in there nicely. And obviously we've got the bottom lip exactly the same, and that will fit in there like so. And you notice there, more or less, we've got the distance between the 5.5 and the 12mm, and that's just a nice drop. And once we've finished with our sanding, we'll shape all this round around the edges here, same with the teeth, and hopefully it'll fit in a little bit more better and won't look as flat as it does now. Now the last section to put this all together is the backer section, so we'll basically cut that next, and then we can start getting on with that sanding side of things. Right, that's all nicely cut out. We've had no problem with that. So we'll just put it all together roughly now, just to show you what it looks like, and then we'll start with our sanding. Okay, so we've got it all together just roughly. Remember, we've got a lot of sanding to do on this. So those teeth are 5.5mm. Remember, these are 12, so you've got 6.5mm difference. So we've got some nice thickness to the lips here, if you can see, without it all sliding apart. And we're going to shape all these edges. We'll get the Dremel on there, mouse sander, sandpaper. We'll even get inside these sections here, just to round those off a bit and round those edges off. So it will look totally different when we come back. And obviously, regarding the teeth, we'll remove all the pencil lines and we will sand that off slightly as well. For me, just a nice little drum sander. We can take our time and if you just go around like so, give it all a nice clean up. With our little nodules at the back there, that takes a matter of seconds to go off with that. Or a bit of sandpaper. And that's gone, that's good to go. So we'll do that, and the same with the big sections here, all the way around there. Look, you get the little noddly fluffy bits, like that, bit of sandpaper, and that's it. They're all nice and clear. But this will be rounded off a lot more, just give a bit more shape to it. Right, we'll start sanding down. Just before we do that, I can just show you, obviously this is plywood and it's made up of different layers. 1, 2, 3 in that 5.5 mil, and I think there's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sections there. And as you're sanding down, you will see the different colours coming through. If I just get that there we go. So we're not going to be too concerned about that as I'm sanding that edges down, because we are going to paint all this. But just bear that in mind if you're going to do a, what's it called again? Plywood. If you're going to do a plywood piece, as regards, you cannot sand it down too much, because that will happen to your corners. But that certainly is not going to bother us, should I say. Okay, we've got all the tools at hand. Let's start sanding this one down. Right, there's all our bits nicely sanded off, with just enough to say rounded those edges off there, and the same on the top and bottom lip. So hopefully it'll all just fit in nicely in place. You can see there, look, hopefully we just rounded that all off nicely, and you see the difference in that coloration there with the different levels of the ply itself, the different layers, and we've done all around there itself. We're not concerned about that, because remember, we are going to paint it all. So that is our bottom lip, and hopefully that just fit in place here. We can play about with this when it comes to the gluing side of things, just to make sure we've got all these teeth in the right section. And there it is, that's all our scroll saw and sanding finally done, and you can just about see it all there. Now painting wise, I do prefer my painter's touch paints, obviously a little bit bigger than this one, and paint it on. I'm going to try and do some spray painting today. I've done a little bit of research the best I can. Spraying is not my thing, to be honest. I do prefer to use a brush. So I've been out and got some primer, apparently some grey primer, which will spray the full piece with that. I picked up a nice cherry red for the lips. I did want a pink lips on this one, but there's no pinks in stock, and I've literally just nipped down to my corner shop, as we say, and picked up some nice cherry red for the lips. And we've got the 151 white gloss for those nice lovely white teeth. And I've also found, and I think there might just be enough there, 151 black gloss for the background. So hopefully those colours will do. If they don't work out, and I'm not 100% sure how it's going to finish up, just plywood, remember, I will just purchase some Painter's Touch red and white and just paint over the full piece by itself. So let's start spraying this up. We'll do some matte first. This is a matte finish grey. I believe you can get different coloured primers depending on your paint, but we'll see. So we're literally going to spray all this on, spray our paints on. Hopefully it come out somewhere near, and then we're looking to sticking it all together. Right, so we've sprayed all our sections of wood up. Remember, we put a couple of coats of primer on, then I give it a light sanding over afterwards. So there's our backer, all nicely done. These have all had 3 or 4 coats on. And for plywood, it's covered okay. I must admit, I'm still questioning rather if I prefer to paint than actual spray. But as we put the pieces together, you can see from there, that's gone okay. I mean, there is certain bits I can't deny it. He says trying to find these little bits here that could probably got a bit more better, and they might want another spray on. But for the purpose of this project, this is going to be more than plenty for what we want. So I'm just going to show you roughly what it looks like when it's all put together. You will get a better visual on the colours itself once we go outside. It's not the best lighting in my shed. I basically just use my mobile phone to film with, and a little light there just in front of the window, so you're not going to get the best view. But we can see from that roughly the teeth have come out nice, and we managed to get down those side sections in there as well. And when you put the white against the red, they do pop out really nice. So what we'll do, we'll glue it all together, and hopefully this little project will be finished. And you can see from that it's taking shape nicely. Just those little 3 at the bottom, they just pop in there like so. And our last at least, and then the last one just goes in there roughly, something like that. Glue wise, I'm going to pop on a bit of super glue just on each corner, and then just wood glue in between, or you could use your standard wood glue, I suppose, something like that. But for me, this is more like a bonding agent, hopefully. So we'll put plenty of that on, dab, 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 nothing fantastic to see. And then I'll incorporate some of this just to make sure we've got it all nice and secure. Okay, I'll go off back indoors, it's a little bit warmer. We'll glue all this together, and when we come back, this little project will be finished. Right, that's it. This little project is finished. Now we use the combination of the 2 glues here, and that worked fine, no problem whatsoever. And everything's nicely stuck down, and that's not going to go anywhere. And I'm quite happy with that one there. So, and that's our little project finished. So we cut the lips out on 12mm plywood, and the backer and the teeth were on 5.5mm plywood, and we used a Olson number 4 spiral blade, I believed. And then we came with a nice Dremel on the end of a flexi cable, a sanding drum, and a mouse sander and sandpaper for shaping it all. And then we just went out and got some old tin spray 151s, reds. Paint Factory was another one, I believe, to do our colorations with, and they've worked out fine. Like I said previously, I'm still in 2 minds if I prefer the painting side of things, but they've come out nice, and the spraying wise and the paint, and as you can see from that, it serves its purpose. For hanging purposes, I will use these little hooks of mine. I do like these. I use these on most of my little projects. A little screw in the back, and you'll get a bag full like that for next to nothing off eBay. And they're perfect for hanging wise. And it measures in at 21 inches by 14 inches. Aye. And that's it. This little project is finished. So, biting lips, scroll saw, project cut out on plywood. Thank you very much for watching.